Last week, I told you about beer importer Artisan Ales receiving a favorable decision when it comes to the Alberta NDP's bad tax and grant system that's cost them significant business over the last 2 years. This program increased taxes on all beer while granting that increase back to Alberta brewers only. And after the government brought this program in, the Calgary-based importer decided to put up a fight by challenging the new policy through the Agreement on Internal Trade with the help of the Canadian Constitution Foundation and lawyer Ben Grant. And the outcome was that an expert panel ruled that the NDP's tax and grant program is discriminatory and doesn't comply with Alberta's free trade obligations under the AIT. So you'd think the NDP, who are also facing legal challenges from brewers in both Ontario and Saskatchewan, would maybe backtrack, maybe put the policy on hold to figure out how to make it fair for everyone. But no way. They did what they always do. Instead of admitting they made a mistake, they demonized and bullied the people that disagree with them by suggesting that they leaked the panel's decision. But I had a chance to talk to owner of Artisan Ales, Mike Tessier, and he tells me that that's simply not the case.
There's nothing in the tribunal about releasing information. They told us at the trade tribunal that we could not release quoted information from the first part, and when the decision came down, there was nothing about leaking it to the public. It wasn't a leak. The answer is the answer. It's just the finance minister deflecting from his own ineptness.
Now, the NDP also made 3 consecutive announcements on liquor last week, which was such an obvious attempt to cover up the AIT's decision against them. A couple of them were actually pretty decent policy. They introduced a license to allow producers to offer food service, along with events and entertainment, are allowing producers to operate away from their core business, and they're letting Alberta craft brewers sell their product at farmers markets. The last one, yeah, it could be made better by allowing all craft breweries to sell at these markets, but I mean, pick your battles. Farmers markets are usually a place for locals to showcase their products. But one of these announcements involved this really bizarre conversion of a sea container into a game center to show people how the funds from liquor and gaming, quote, make a positive social and economic impact on communities throughout Alberta. Yeah, so this was kind of weird. Games are usually targeted towards little kids, are they not? And why does the NDP have to make everything, including beer, a political and social justice issue? By the way, those media releases got very little airtime, so it wasn't a very effective strategy on the part of the NDP. Another thing that's not getting much attention is that local brewer Big Rock has now announced that they're losing money due to the NDP's tax and grant system, because the money granted back to Alberta brewers is cut off at 150,000 hectoliters, which that brewery is well above production. So now they're shouldering the costs of the $1.25 per liter tax markup on all beer that the Alberta government brought in. They're reporting that they've lost $700,000 and that they're now cutting products to get the government grant rate. So not only has this tax kneecapped importers, it's now punishing bigger private corporations that create jobs, provide tax dollars for the government to spend, and stimulate the economy. And yeah, these corporations can't survive under the government's policy, so they're cutting products to get corporate welfare so that they can. So this is yet another devastating outcome of this policy, which has been a complete failure all around. And speaking of failures, I asked Mike about what he thinks some of the more prominent ones have been regarding this tax and grant scheme.
It's hurt businesses that they didn't even compute into the process. Connect Logistics is a warehouse that delivers beer throughout the province. They had to have layoffs. Bars and owners, like really the only people the NDP have employed is printers, because restaurants have had to print their menus for their next whimsical change. So they're going to have to do it a third time soon. And then you hear these restaurants, it's like $6,000 to print a menu. So he's hurt the economy time and time again. And then You look at the stores where you have these massive beer selections, and product that's overpriced now is now being dusted, and that doesn't hurt. That hurts the retailer from that overhead. It hurts the consumer because they're buying old beer, and it just clogs up the whole system.
There's absolutely nothing good about this policy, and it actually appears that Joe Ceci and the NDP aren't backing off of it anytime soon. In fact, they're trying to cover up all of the problems that come along with it. Although the reasons for appealing the AIT decision are slim, the NDP doesn't have a leg to stand on, and they'd face hefty fines if they don't comply with the decision. There's still a chance that they'll double down. When I asked Mike if he's willing to go another round, this is what he said.
If anything, the panel invigorated me to fight more. The Alberta's Legal told me during the panel that their first application, the one that hurt me the most, was a mistake. And then they moved the goal line on the second one, and they've been told by the panel that it was a mistake.
Although this story should have been over long ago, the Alberta NDP should have backtracked on this scheme, and an official panel has made a decision against them. I don't think this is exactly over with, so I'll definitely keep you updated as all of the details unfold. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks for watching. Have you heard that YouTube is cracking down on content that they think is controversial? That could mean anything, and it could mean it affects us at the Rebel. So we want to build a conservative alternative. If you can help us out, visit theycan'tstopus.ca for all of the details.